want to be on the next target. Not as soon as possible so much as late as possible, if that makes sense. As
Mm-hmm.
late as possible while still switching before the previous one's dead.
Yeah, and the problem is like if you're switching too soon, right? Especially in that last fight, and your two hunters can't do it enough by themselves, then it becomes a situation because if the frost collar heals them back up, then you're kind of screwed.
Well, I don't know if I can't remember if we have keepers on the last phase on tier 3. But if there are keepers, they are also casting heals.
Yeah.
That makes them pretty tough, at least on the giant phase. That's why we try to get on them relatively early. Totally get good in the seers first, though, because they knock us around a lot.
Yes, we have to get those seers first because we didn't do that once last night, and we had, I think it was the arcade that went flying into the front of the boss and got frontaled and died.
Well, that's not even a far punt. I was about to say
Yeah.
arcade, by virtue of having constant heal over time up, right? They're going to be primaried as soon as things come out.
Yeah.
And so I would not be surprised to see an arcade get like a triple punt in that phase.
I'm just working on my parse real quick now after the update. After I got those new traceries. So I just want to see
Oh yeah, yeah, for your hunter.
how that affected things.
So Friedrich and I have been having like a months long thing about burglar. Like he maintains that a burglar can do DPS and all the burglary jobs without, all the mitts. And he can and Potts can. I've never claimed that I'm on that level. But we're literally quibbling over like 60k DPS over the difference of like 36% mitigations to 63% mitigations. It's literally flipping the numbers there.
Crazy.
I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye on this.
Agree to disagree, right?
But I mean, I threw him the bone. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's reflexes or my vision or whatever. I said, I can't keep up with that. But I don't think Potts is a young fella either.
I don't know. I think Potts is not. He is young. I don't know how young. I don't know. Okay, let's see. 350k. 358
On the dummy?
kdps. Yes. But that's because I'm missing one heart seeker and my op shots aren't high enough, so let me try that again. I should be able to get over 400.
You certainly should be able to get over 400. Um, I can actually hit over 400 with only like 6 heart seekers. It's sad because I'm not getting the rotation right, obviously.
I just need to practice the rotation more, I think.
I'll be honest, the one thing that really helps me is having that quick shot button.
Oh yeah, I spam it all the time. especially when all my skills are on cooldown. But I'm thinking maybe I'm not hitting it quite enough.
Well, when I was sitting there just, going through the rotation of just quick shotting and, oops, excuse me, Heartseeker and Upshot with penetrating shot, of course. But anyway, just those abilities. Not putting in any swift bow or any of that. And I was able to get like 9 or 10 upshots on a parse, just depending. So it's definitely possible to get up there. It's just that there's so many other things that you can be doing that also increase your DPS.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously the parse can be better whenever I incorporate everything.
And the dummy doesn't really help, measure how much AoE damage you're doing.
Oh, 0, yeah.
Okay, that was 362. Yeah, but it's because I'm trying to get my Rain of Arrows and Split Shot in there. Okay, I'm gonna do one without them and just see kind of like what I could do.
I leave out split shot when I'm parsing, but I use Rain of Arrows because it does have that extra bleed that does kind of help. You ever watch the Nerd of the Rings on YouTube?
I've watched it with you, but that's about it.
They've got a new one out this week. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm gonna have to check it out. Is about the history of pipeweed.
Fun.
They're actually an excellent source of information about a topic because they'll take all these other sources of information and distill them out together and give you like something usable.
Hmm.
So, like when I was watching the Rings of Power, I'm like, that can't be Gandalf because this is supposed to be the second age. And I was like, well, was it the second age or in the third age that he came? So I went and checked out the Nerd of the Rings thing on the travels of Gandalf.
Hmm.
They were like, yeah, year 1000 of the third age, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Okay, so that time I focused on just Heartseeker and Upshot and Penetrating Shot and Barbed Arrow. I got 165 quick shots, 22 upshots, and 8 Heartseekers, which is really good. But I only did 308k DPS.
Right. And that's actually pretty boilerplate for just working with those abilities. That's about what I was
Yeah.
getting. 290, 300 and something. Yeah, it just
So
varies a little, but
now I'm gonna work on integrating Swift Bow and see if I can still get my 8 Heartseekers and 22 upshots.
I do sometimes use quick bow when I don't have Swift and True up, but I try to always make sure I've got that up. Do you have anything to track your Swift and True?
Swift and True?
It's a buff that you get from using quick shot that makes it so that there is no induction on your Swift bow. So it still has the animation of making the 3 shots, but it does not have the induction bar that comes up.
No, I do not have a way of tracking that at the moment for that.
Well, give me a moment and we'll make you a way to track it.
Cause all I'm tracking right now is just I keep spamming it.
Right, and you can hold off on it just a little bit to have it take less time to use so that you can get it back into anything. Quick shot, for example. I mean, that's a better skill than waiting for an induction. Let me see here. That's 6 anyway. I need to hop off my farming game.
Looks like I lost my healer for tonight.
Oh no.
My minstrel.
See what I put up yesterday whenever I did the spontaneous tier 2? I was like, anybody that's doing the run with Gab, I'm kicking you out at 9.
That's
I'm not
good.
interfering with somebody else's run. That's
Exactly.
It's not fair to the other raid leaders. It's not fair to the other players that are,
Yeah.
set up for these runs. It's a bad thing.
Suktu cancelled on me.
Oh,
Yeah, said he had some family stuff come up.
I was about to say he's not one to bail on commitments, so he must have had something come up.
Yeah. We'll see. So, with the quick shot thing that you track, right? I guess that tells you when you can then, um, when that allows you to have time to do the other things.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll show you exactly what it looks like before we even set it up for you. How's that?
Okay, that'll be cool.
I'm not sure where my DPS jewelry is, so my actual numbers may be terrible, but it'll work for showing you what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, when Jay mentioned Swift and True to me, and I was like, "What's that?"
Yeah, I'm aware of the buff that the quick shot gives, which is the swift and true, but I haven't figured out how to track it.
It's easy to track, and it has a cool or a timer on it, right? Like when it
Mm-hmm.
activates, you've got like 5 seconds to actually do it. I don't know what it is actually, but it's some seconds. And so the way I track it's with a bar that ticks down and tells me whenever I'm very nearly expired, which is often when I actually get to hit it because there's a cooldown timer on the skill too.
I
So you
see.
don't just get to hit it always.
Mm.
Like I say, I'll show you here in just a moment. It'll make a lot more sense than me waving my hand. And if you ever do want to do some testing with AoEs, I can show you something really funny.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in streaming.
Oh, hang on, let me check.
We have 5 training dummy stands in Sonic's little Ken house. So, I mean, you have to bring in 5 people to activate them all at once. But you can activate
Okay.
5 training dummies at once and just go gangbusters. We did it for Ulvin's Champ. We actually had 7 of them in here at one point, I think. But all right, so you should see it right around here when it finally comes up. Oh, there we go. Swift and True. And it looks like it's about an 8-second timer. And like I said, there's no induction bar for it then. You just pop the rounds out, or the arrows.
So, while that is green bar, you want to hit swift bow, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I've hit Swift Bow with it showing like zero point 0.8 seconds left, and it still gives me no induction, does what it's supposed to do, and it's beautiful.
Okay.
And that comes up pretty often, but like I say, I just track it with that bar, and you can then move the bar anywhere you want. But
So is that in prime?
yeah, that's done through Prime. So you've got what you need.
Is it buff bars?
Yeah.
Okay.
So under buff bars, I put in Swift and add window, and that'll give you a Swift window here.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna type in swift and then add window.
Yeah, and that'll give you its own little window so you can drag it
Mm-hmm.
exactly where you want. Over here, click on the second button down until that reads whitelist.
Okay.
Then under effect, type in swift and true exactly as it appears there. It is case sensitive.
Swift and true. Okay.
Then you hit add effect,
Okay.
and you can change the width. I'm not sure if I ever did, but I just run with 200. And then you just close, and it's ready.
Oh, there it pops up. Okay. And then how can I move it?
So to move it, go back to your options, and then you just go to the move settings. And I believe that one is buff bars. Yeah, if you click the move buff bars button,
Okay.
there's a swift bar here. I can actually move it so it's not quite as covered up. And then, as always, click it again before you close the thing, or it won't save.
Okay, no, it didn't save. So how do I save it? Click move
Uh,
bars again? Yeah, okay.
yeah, that's all it really is. And another thing you can do if you're unsure of how your other windows are laid out, obviously, is when you go to move settings, you can actually hit move all,
Okay.
and it shows all of your stuff, so you can make sure you don't have stuff overlapping that you don't want. There we go. That should be good for me.
Okay, let me try blanking
But that
around
might
with
even
that
help.
now.
And if you're going to start, with the basics and start incorporating more things as you've been doing, right? Um, yeah, it'd be good to practice getting your swift bow in when the buff is up mostly. I do still hit it sometimes when it's not, but it's weird. So whenever I'm on burglar, it seems like DPS is going slow when I'm not doing anything, even though I know my DPS doesn't really contribute. If anything, my critical debuff uh, is what helps whenever I go over and actually smack mobs. But um, whenever I'm on DPS and that's all I'm looking at, it always feels so much slower than it does whenever I'm playing anything else. Maybe it's me. This is not going to work.
How did I do that time? 365. Hmm. So, oh yeah, that's right. You have the one timer for the hexagonate. Maybe I should set that up as well. Can you run your, or you do have your combat analysis up? Why are you tracking Rain of Arrows?
Because whenever it crits, it has a chance to reduce the cooldown time on it. And so the reason to track it for the 12 seconds is so that I know that's how long the bleed lasts.
Okay.
So that way, even if I do reduce the cooldown on it, I can still kind of neglect it if it's not ideal to be using AoE for the moment, and I know that the dot is already up.
Can you explain to me how the Rain of Arrows is critting so that it resets? I
Okay, it's
wasn't quite following that discussion the other night that they were having.
okay. So with Rain of Arrows, has a max targets of 10,
Mm-hmm.
and with this traded up to with two slots or two ranks rather. Each target critically hit with Rain of Arrows has a 50% chance to reduce the skill's cooldown, becomes 100% at tier 2. So every crit,
Okay.
100% will reduce the cooldown. So if you hit 10 things and you get uh, crits on 5 of them, then that's going to be 5 chunks taken off of it. And so that can
Okay. So that's how they're getting to spam Rain of Arrows all the time, is when so many mobs are around.
yeah, and we
Okay.
can actually explore what that actual amount is. Yeah, that
Um,
shows 12 seconds, 9, 8.
so
So
that's
yeah, it
just
looks
for the
like I did get a
bleed.
crit. It's 2 seconds per crit, it looks like.
Okay. So you're just monitoring the bleed there, so that you're
That's all I'm doing. Yeah.
okay. So
Let's see. I don't know if I got a crit there, but let's see how this actually flushes out. Nope. That may have been a crit. I'm not sure. It's hard to know without multiple targets because it's really obvious when you get crits on multiple targets because it'll be, way back around. But I'm not entirely sure how many seconds you get off of the thing. But 10 targets is pretty beastly. And if you look, I mean, just sitting here, doing auto attacks, the actual crit chances, uh, pretty good, but it's better whenever you're actually using the skills.
hmm. And then you're only using blood arrow when exsanguinate is up, right?
Or if I need a heal and it's not up, I hit blood arrow.
Okay.
Survive first, worry about your DPS second, right?
Yeah. Okay. Hey Dan, how's it going? Okay, here we go. I'm up to 376. Oh, at some point I did reach 410. Okay. Don't know what I was doing that time. How's your parsing coming?
Kind of low. At the moment I'm running right at 370. I'm just not able to pick it up.
Oh, we're doing well, Dan. I'm just working on my parse for my hunter, trying to get over 400. Alright, here I go again. Okay, so this time I am just gonna focus on incorporating Swift Arrow. So I'm guessing it's better to hit Heartseeker before you hit Upshot, right? Because once you hit Upshot, your full focus is gonna go away.
I like hitting those in combination like that, yeah. Which I just screwed up right there. Ugh, 356. I can do better than this. I have done better than this.
You can do it.
Oh, hey, Jay.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's okay. Just got done with a school meeting. We went over homework that we were submitting, and I did all the homework wrong. So that was great.
I always love it when that happens. That's happened to me so many times. Well, hopefully you have time to fix it.
Yeah, it's interesting. The way that this course works is the professor only grades what the group elects to make their final submission, which means that the group gets to meet beforehand and point out where we all went wrong and what we did wrong, and then we can fix it and submit it for a grade, which is really cool. So like
Okay.
I'll be fine. I'll still get a good grade on the homework because thankfully my teammates knew what they were doing. Um, the only place where it could bite me in the butt is with the individual exams, but
Mm,
I'm using what I learned in the meeting today to make sure that I don't make the same mistake on the exam.
yeah, yeah.
Hi Ming.
Hello.
Hey, Ming. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Grodik and I are parsing to see if we can cross the 400 mark.
You can do it.
How's it going?
I've been able to reach 380 once today.
Oh, nice.
The thing that gets me is when I first switched out my traceries, I was able to pull off like 410 pretty regular, and now I can't get up there. It's just aggravating me.
Well, I mean, I don't really know how parsing works because I've never had to do it, but do you, what about like LM debuffs? Would that help you guys?
Oh, yeah, but that's not at all how we do parsing.
Is it just you're trying to get the, is that what min-maxing means?
Yeah, relatively
Kind of.
sort of.
So I'm trying my raw score, meaning I'm completely unbuffed, is what I'm looking at.
Min maxing is more like what someone would do to a burglar, would be to reduce the amount of mitigations that they have to the bare minimum that you really have to survive just a regular random shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so once you've got that bare minimum, and then you're basically um, trusting everyone to help keep you alive, you then maximize your DPS scores. That's literally min max.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, min maxing is usually more of like the gear and stats, whereas the
Mm-hmm.
parsing is to practice and see. So like for hunters, well actually for all classes. I mean, when you go to a training dummy, what you're basically trying to do is create the best thing to do when you're doing parsing is you're trying to get in the rhythm of using a specific kind of rotation. That way you
Right.
know when to use your skills and in what combinations. Um, and for hunters specifically, it's, I mean, again, you can do it on any class, but I think hunters and other range DPS benefit from it the most because they're going to be the ones who are able to mimic it most similarly in a raid environment because hunters aren't going to be moving as much as your champs and your wardens. So it's good to use as a baseline to kind of get an idea of without any kind of, well, without any other class buffs assisting you, what you can do for damage. And
Okay,
when
that
you
makes sense.
parse, you can technically parse several different ways. You can parse fully buffed. What that means is you have your hope scrolls, food, um, oils, maybe even a damage tome on. But, and this is where the logic was kind of flawed from the beginning of this expansion, you're gonna get your best stats if you don't have buffs on because that's how you're more easily able to compare your numbers to other people. Um,
Right.
when this expansion first dropped, people were not able to hit the stat caps, so they had to use buffs to kind of compensate for that, so they could try to emulate a more level field for comparison. But now that we're able to hit stat caps, there's no reason to parse fully buffed unless you just really want to. Like, as far as like comparing numbers to other people and to yourself over time, it's just better to not. That way you're looking at the raw numbers and not, with any buffs or anything like that.
No, that makes sense. I realized after I asked, I was like, oh, I get it. But thank you for the explanation.
Just keep in mind that the primary use of parsing is to improve yourself, which means that you need to see your own numbers before and after changes. So that's all I ever use it for. I'm not really trying to hit, silver got 450. I got to hit 450. I'm trying to, but I'm just trying for incremental changes right off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I said, it's working out your rotation. That's going to be that's for hunters, at least. That's kind of the best use for the parses, especially well, it's funny because before, so with the set bonus for hunters, they get a bleed on rain of arrows, which is an AOE skill. Used to be when you would parse, you would never want to use AOE skills because there was no reason to. Because well, why are you using AOE skills on a single target for a parse? That's stupid. But now you can and should use rain of arrows in your parsing rotation because that's going to be part of your rotation in the raid, and you want to practice for emulating that within the raid. So it's kind of fun to see the evolution of how people parse and what skills are quote unquote allowed while parsing. It's a weird science that people get very heated over.
Yeah, I've noticed.
The big thing to remember about the AOE thing, like I don't think I hit split shot very much at all, but at least not in parsing. But there's 4 mobs out there to be hit. It's going to improve my DPS to hit them all.
Mm-hmm. I trust.
Well, it's 20 till. I'm going to go ahead and head over to Brandy Wipe and start getting ready for this run thing.
Does anybody have a mini that they want to bring to come help me? Sukti bailed on me.
Stress has a bear. If that can be worked around to help you.
I'll do.
I was talking and I was muted. Hey, I can bring my bear if you need help.
I'm volunteering him for something that I have no idea if he has time for.
Love it.
Alright, I will be right back.
Yeah, if the bear will help, Manoa, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, 1 extra bear heal is better than no heal.
What are you doing?
We're doing tier 3 boss 1. Hopefully we'll get through that and then we'll work towards boss 2. I don't know if we'll actually get to boss 2 in the 2 hours. Because I'm planning on doing the 9 o'clock viewing of Ring of Power with everybody.
Got it.
I'm so looking forward to that.
My week has been off the rails, so I haven't signed up for anything this week. So I have plenty of it. I have no locks for anything. So.
Nice. Yeah, that happens. I took this week kind of slow as well. Gonna finish this parse and then I'll probably head over myself.
Is this a 7 o'clock run?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll jump into the channel. If you find somebody else that's better for you, then it's up to you. It's your call. I can help or I can not help. It's up to you.
Okay. Thank you for the flexibility.
You the man.
I'm something.
Yeah, I clearly need to come work on my parse and figure out my hierarchy of skills.
Yeah, I'm working on a couple DPS tunes, but it'll be a while before they're ready for anything real.
Well, I was breaking 700 on Himmel this week, Jay, which was exciting to
That's good.
see. But then we had to move, and then my parse went to crap. I need to figure out how Gooslings and how they sustain that for the entire fight.
Well,
It's
one good thing to keep in mind when talking about Lost and Goose is that uh they only play this game. Like that's what they do with their days. So like they also have teammates who enable them to achieve those higher parse levels. So like you can hit the highest parse you can on a trading dummy. You can break like I don't know what the numbers at this point, but let's you can break 500k on a dummy. But if your team doesn't enable you, if they don't set you up with the right buffs and debuffs, then you're not gonna see a good translation into a raid fight. Now there are things that you can control, of course, with positioning and minimizing how much you're moving around. Um, but for hunters, it is 50-50, your teammates and your own positioning. So that's just
yeah,
that's something to keep in mind. Is like you can spend hours perfecting your own part of it, but in the end, if your teammates aren't stepping up and delivering that same amount of effort and preparedness, then unfortunately you're not going to be put in the best spot. So
yeah, yeah. And I do think I mean our LM wasn't keeping the what's the the bird buff up the entire time, which
yeah, see that's huge.
it's
Like
like
if
mhm
yeah, if they don't, because like so with the benediction of the raven, that you have the base stat, which is minus 10% fire mitts, and then there's applied with catnip or catmint, which is then 20% fire
yeah
debuff. So like if they don't have like there's so many layers to it. There's like if you don't have it at all, if you're using it but not with catmint, like that can seriously impact the numbers that hunters are pulling.
yeah
If you're using fire oil, so like yeah, that's huge. And
yeah
another thing too is like the rest of the pets. I mean, obviously ravens are kind of like the bare minimum, especially since that's an AOE applied debuff that hits everything
mhm
that's close to the raven. But then there's also the bear and the bog lurker, which apply geez. Shatter Arms does armor reduction that enables, I think it's physical mitigation, so that's better for, champs and for hunters with your physical damage. And then Bog Lurker, they reduce the incoming ranged crit chance, so that's huge for hunters. So, like, having those debuffs up on, like, Creamill, for example, that's going to make such a huge difference on your parse when you're fighting her compared to everything else. So, like, there's a lot that goes into it.
yeah yeah. It's not just. I realize that it's not just me. That it's does the tanks have everything grouped up? Are we in the right positions? Or do we have the banners down? Do we have the LM buffs up? Is the Berg doing what it needs? Like there's so many components to figuring this out, um, and to optimize it. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna hop on over to BW. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully, we'll be watching Ring of Power at 9.
Yep.
I'll see you then.
Is the time
See ya.
already? Oh no.
You guys still got 10 minutes for 14 minutes.
Over there, a couple minutes below.
Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.